Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is the NCAA Hoops Hour, and I am the big man on campus. Thanks for coming aboard today and joining us here on a show that I didn't think I was going to have, but I had some concerns over the weekend when I saw the weather report and I had bought these tickets. Mother Nature ruins the night. But you know what? Today I saw on Twitter up on 76, the way that I go to Philly, there was a jackknife tractor trailer. Roads didn't look good. So again, I'm not going to risk, an accident or something crazy for a night in Philly. Plus, again, coming back, everything's going to freeze, I'm sure. So just didn't want to risk it. It is what it is, just bad timing, really. So I was able to get rid of the tickets, and it's all good. I watch it on TV. And we'll get down to another game soon. The great thing about the Sixers is now we don't go there just to watch other teams. We go there to watch them play. So, we can always go watch them. So we don't worry about just going to see LeBron or James Harden. You actually go to watch them now. So we'll get to another game. Donnie's in here. So we'll get to a game soon, him and I. I was looking forward to seeing Donnie, but it is what it is. Thanks for joining us today. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe. And I'm sure if you're new here, you're probably wondering what this is. Basically, we go over the college hoops card, try to find some winners, and try to throw out some great information that nobody else is throwing out to you. So let's get into it here. I gave out 2 free picks last night. One of them was Kansas plus 2.5. They win the game outright in overtime. Some of you guys are rooting that in on Periscope. We got done that one there. And also I had the under 139.5 in Mississippi Valley and Alabama State. It was 73-50 with 2 minutes to go, and the game somehow goes over. Bad beat. There was an and one in the final 15 seconds, and it was rough. What are you going to do? But I felt like I was on the right side of the games, and I didn't get lucky with it. So it happens. Shout out to James, Jeff, Isaac, Adam, Sean, Brendan, Sacktown, Corey, Michael, Jake, Salty Dog, Chris, Jeff Cook, Ryan T, Matt, Alston, Russ, Crypto, Shadow Nose, Pablo, Guan, Donnie, Brandon, Bobby, TJ, all you guys in here. Thanks for joining us. Let's get this show cracking. Make sure you hit the like button so you never miss a show. That's why I do these shows. Hit the like button. That's what I need from you. And if you're on Twitter, retweet the show. That's how it gets to other people, and they get to see the show, and maybe they'll like it. No need to ask about any games. I'm going to try to get to them all. One thing I will tell you I will not be getting to is MAC games. I don't generally go over MAC games. If we have some time at the end, I'll go over them, but there are much more pressing things to get to today. Let's jump into it. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You got Bonaventure heading on the road to take on the Joes. The Hawk will never die here. Coming off a nice win, a game that I told you they were going to win Friday night. They were playing for Coach Martelli and his father, who passed away. They resounded with a 30-point win against St. Louis, putting up 91 in that game. An impressive outing for the Joes. You look at Bynum and Brown were terrific. Clover gave you 32 minutes and 15 points. Lorenzo Edwards as well. Got a nice bench outing from Troy Holston and Tyler Funk. It's been a nice it was a nice game for St. Louis. And I got to tell you, or for St. Joe's, I think this game as well suits the profile for St. Joe's. I think one thing we can always agree about with the Joes, they don't do dumb things to cost themselves games. They make free throws. They're good from the line. They don't turn the ball over. This team is number 1 in the country in turnover percentage. They only turn it over about 13% of the time. It's really impressive stuff. You have a team in Bonaventure that's turning it over 19% of the time. They're 2 I want to say they're 2 or 3-8-1, I think, in their last 12 games on the road against the number. I've talked about it. This is not the same Bonaventure team. They're coming off a horrendous loss, a 30-point loss to VCU. Now you got to get on the road, pick up your bootstraps, and play another game here. I lean Joe's. It's not one of my better plays of the day, but I try to go over all the games, and I like the way this Joe's team's playing right now. They fought through some injuries, and they're still trying to find ways to win games and stay in games. What else do we have here? Thanks, Mike, for watching. Yep, no Mac right now. I don't really like Mac basketball. I thought no show today. Well, you must have missed the first 3 minutes of the show. I explained why there's a show today. Is dinner canceled with the girl? Yes, but it's not that big a deal because Valentine's Day is Thursday, and I'll be seeing her then, so it's okay. She understands. In fact, I sent her out with her girlfriend tonight, so she'll be having a nice time with her. But let's keep it moving here. Maryland hosting Purdue. Maryland, 2.5-point underdogs. There is 2 starting to show up, though, at Bookmaker. I'd imagine Bet Online will be showing it 2 soon as well. You look at this number, open pick'em. It's been bet up. Purdue is a favorite right now of bettors. They're winning games. They're playing well. They beat Maryland in the first game. But, again, I've talked about Maryland. I think they're one of the more undervalued teams in the country. I think this is a solid basketball team that every time they play a team, they're going to have the advantage inside. You look at Maryland in this game. They're a big team. Purdue, while they do have harms and bigger players, they're not physical. They're not a good rebounding team. You look at the first game, Maryland grabbed 13 offensive rebounds. Look, when Maryland can bully you down low, they're tough to beat because what Maryland does is they play a great in and out game. They get the ball inside. If it's not there, they're able to kick it out. You look at Maryland, 39.7% from 3. This team has really done a nice job all season, particularly in conference, of hitting the 3. That's something that I worry about if you're Purdue in this game, adding in the fact that they're on the road. And you look at Purdue from the perimeter, they are struggling. They're giving up a jump shot rate at 36.7%. Teams are able to shoot against this group. Purdue is 12th in the conference in 3-point defense. And they're 7th in 2-point defense. Frankly, they're not that good defensively in conference. They just haven't been. You look at Maryland, they've had a much better go of it. I think they have the better offense in this game as far as in this kind of game. They're good from the line. They're at home. I like what I'm seeing out of Maryland tonight. Let's keep it moving. Pittsburgh, Boston College, not running to the win at a bet on this team. 2 middling ACC teams. Not much of a game for me. Davidson, Fordham. I kind of like Fordham in this spot, to be honest, guys. I mean, I look at these 2 teams, and I don't see 7.5 points difference. In fact, anytime Davidson plays, I'm always looking at these kind of numbers to take the points. I think this is a 4 to 6 point game. It's 7.5, though. I think it's too many points. I know Fordham's not a good basketball team, but you look at it in large parts of their schedule, they played very well. I mean, they lost to Duquesne by 5, lost to Bonaventure by 7, lost to St. Louis by 3, George Mason by 3, LaSalle by 2. They were in the game against Duquesne last time out. This team has fought in games, okay? They've held their own. To me, Davidson's a great team, and I think this is a low-scoring game. I don't think we're going to see a ton of points here. Both these defenses pretty solid. They don't go overly fast. They're very slow tempo-wise. You look at a total in this game, 127. I got to tell you, I think this is a Davidson maybe gets 63, 62, but I think Fordham will push to 55-ish. I think just like a 62, 56 type of game. I think under holds some value at 127 if you can get it. And I would lean Fordham. But I feel like if you're going to take the under, I don't feel like there's a need to correlate the bets. I'm not a big correlation guy. I feel like one bet's enough. Again, if you like Davidson, though, you probably don't want to get involved with the total. But if you like Fordham, I think the under makes sense because I think both these teams are good defensively. They both go very slow. I don't think Davidson's ever going to push anything. I think the under has some value, and I do think Fordham at home, the Rams are probably the play here. We will get to all the games, guys, so feel free to sit back and just listen. I think Duke is on upset alert. Well, we'll get to that. Nice comeback for Duquesne. Yeah, they have, but and Duquesne's been solid. They've found a way to kind of figure it out after that Penn State debacle. Valentine's Day is expensive. Yeah, it is. Just another fucking pointless holiday that you have to spend money on. Boom. What's up, T Money? Rob Job's in here. Crazy Rocker. BitXN. G Coop. Savagny. Kyle Brady. Troy V. Thank you, Matt. Yep, fun. Always good talking to Gabe Morency and the guy. Computer here. Am I still live? Yes, my computer froze for a second. Georgia A&M. Georgia, look, I think they're just kind of planning at this point for next season. They're not going to win anything in this conference. They did get one of the better recruits in the country in Anthony Edwards, so that's obviously a big coup for Tom Crean. Both these teams, though, are not teams I'm looking to run to bet on. Texas A&M has had large issues this year scoring on a regular basis. TJ Starks has been very disappointing. I think Billy Kennedy's, just kind of both these coaches are lame ducks at this point. LSU, Kentucky. This is going to be one of my free plays of the day on the show here. It is a game that I like, I don't love. Again, every free play of the day here that I sent out is the best of the best. But I got to tell you, I like Kentucky tonight against Louisiana State. I think a lot of people are going to jump on the points, and they have. You look at this number, open 9.5, it was quickly bet down to 9, and now it's at 8. I'm bucking the trend and going the other way. Kentucky's playing too good right now. I think they're a horrid matchup for LSU, and I mean that. You look at this Kentucky team right now, they're playing at an extremely high level. Have not lost since lost once since December 15th, and that was a 2-point road loss at Alabama. Other than that, they've been terrific. You look at since that loss, December 8th at Seton Hall, they have played 13 games. 8 have been wins by double digits. They won 14 of them. 8 have been by double digits. They've been terrific. I don't see LSU really bothering Kentucky in this game. I don't think they're going to be effective scoring the best. Well, you look at what LSU wants to do on offense, and it's very simple. They want to go really quick. They want to force turnovers, and they want to get to the line. You look at LSU, 35th in the country at getting to the line, and 76% once they get there. They almost exclusively are a 2-point offense. They don't jack threes. They don't shoot a ton of threes. You look at the discrepancy between LSU between 2-point shots and 3-point shots. Their exclusive offense, 52.3% of their offense comes from 2, 22% of it comes from the foul line. So their point distribution, 74% of the distribution as far as points are concerned, come from inside the 3-point line. You look at Kentucky, the way you beat Kentucky is you jack threes. That's how you win, and you make those threes. If someone comes in and can shoot, they will beat Kentucky. It's that simple. So if Lehigh played Kentucky, they would probably have a pretty good shot against them, frankly. You look at LSU, they just don't shoot threes. That's really not their game. It's drive and kick. It's getting the ball in and out. It's getting to the line. Tremont Waters, getting Naz Reid and Cavell Bigby Williams involved. I just don't know that against this front line with Keldon Johnson and Reed Travis and P.J. Washington, I just don't think that they're going to be as effective as I think one might think. LSU's a good team, and I'm not going to discount what they do. But again, they are on the road here. Defensively, they're not good. And I think right now with Kentucky, I'm not looking to jump in front of them. You look at right now for LSU, 14th in the SEC in effective field goal percentage defense. For the layperson, that's not good. In fact, it's heinous and one of the worst in the league. They're also 14th at 2-point defense. You look at Kentucky, they're another team, very exclusive. They like to get into the lane. They're second in point distribution from the 2-point line in conference. This is just a bad matchup for LSU. I hate to say it. Kentucky's a play of the day on the show here. Again, it does not matter about personnel, guys. It is about how these teams are going to match up with the other team. Tremont Waters is terrific. I will never dispute that. He's a great player. But against certain teams, I just don't think he's going to be effective, and this is one of them. What else do we have here? Am I going to periscope the Kentucky game on Saturday? Maybe. Maybe to make you happy, we will. Yeah, Herschel, thanks, man. Feel free to start your own show, and you can you can give out whatever you want. This is not an hour for everyone to give out their plays. Now, I will gladly take the plays, but we don't need Herschel. Only the reason he comes in here is to promote his plays. Thanks anyway. What else do we have here? Kyle Brady says, "Go Vols." Yeah, listen, Kyle. I get it. I understand Kentucky's got to look ahead here, and that's a very viable reason that you wouldn't be interested. But this is not an LSU team, guys, that is like a middling team anymore. They're a real life good basketball team. Okay. They're not that whipping boy that they once were. They're a good team. Will Wade's a good coach. You must keep your eye on the ball. And I'll tell you what, if this was other Kentucky teams, I would buy into the look ahead factor. But I'll tell you what, I've not seen that with this group. And I'll tell you a big reason for that. It's been Reed Travis. Reed Travis is a senior. They normally don't have seniors on this team. They normally don't. Every player is a freshman. Reed Travis, I think, has been integral to this team's success. And I mean that. Without Reed Travis, they would not be doing what they're doing. Is he the best player on the team? No, but he's very fucking important to what they do. He's great for veteran presence. He's good as far as leadership. You must have leaders on your team. You need that experience. And that's what I've talked about. Continuity is everything. Fucking Kentucky doesn't have continuity. One thing they do have, though, is they have a guy named Reed Travis, and he can continuitize them very well. I like what Reed does. I think he's been important to what they do. Excuse me. I like Kentucky in this game. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. What else do we have here? Do I still think UK will beat Tennessee in the next game? We'll have to see. I'll let you all know about that when we get Saturday. It's, again, only Tuesday. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. He is the glue. Great point, Anthony. Continuitized. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I was trying to get at there. Have I ever heard of Big Rob? I've not heard of Big Rob. Kentucky to the Final Four. Wouldn't put it past them. What else do we have here? Buffalo, Akron. Again, I don't have much on these MAC games. If we have some time, we'll come back to them. I just don't. I've never capped the MAC. It's just one conference that I'm not really into. I know about the teams and I know what they do, but I'll come back to these games. Michigan State, Marquette. I don't understand this line, to be really honest. I think other than Wisconsin being at home, I don't really know what they do to be only a 2-point underdog here. Like, I know Wisconsin's playing well, and again, I respect that. I love Ethan Happ, and I really like what this group does. And at Madison, they're tough to beat, but I don't think they're impossible to beat. Minnesota went in and beat them. Purdue went in and beat them. This team is beatable. They do a lot of things that bother them late in games. You look at the fact right now, guys, Michigan State, number 1 in the country in 2-point offense, or 2-point defense. I'm sorry. They are very good inside the paint. They're very tough to score on. It's that simple. They're 9th in the country in adjusted efficiency. They're also really good from the 3-point line defending that, but they just don't give you much down low. And there's a little guy down low named Nick Ward. Physical, tough, big-time trouble for Ethan Happ, in my opinion. And again, guys, you look at the distribution. This Badger team likes the 2-point shot. They like to take care of the basketball, slow tempo, really get good shots, and that's fine. But for me, I don't think that's a good matchup for Michigan. You also look at the fact that in conference, guys, and this is important, this Michigan State team has done a really nice job getting offensive rebounds. They're first in the country, or in the conference, in offensive rebound percentage. Look at Wisconsin. They don't rebound the ball at all. There's not going to be easy opportunities for them. They don't rebound the ball well. It's just that simple. They're also very poor from the line. I think that's a big difference in this game. In conference, Wisconsin shooting under 60%. Let me say that again, under 60%. That's how you lose games. We've talked about that. Again, you look at last night in certain games, free throws lose games. One of the reasons Oklahoma University lost last night, 8 for 15 from the line. That's why they didn't cover. You have to make free throws. And Wisconsin, you're always on the bad side with this group because they don't make free throws. I think Michigan State's a way better team. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I don't understand this number, really. Valentine's Day, no. We'll be getting some sushi up here actually. Uh, she'll be coming up here. Thank you, Philip. Yeah, the Norfolk game was just like we thought it would be. It was a great call. I was dead on the money with Norfolk over the weekend. I bet against them in the spot I should have. I would have bet on them in the spot that I should. Um, Listen, John. Nobody knows who that is. Just let's give it up, John. We don't know who. No one knows who that is. We don't know who John. We don't know who Big Rob is. Um, and again, if you want to promote other people, create your own show and go do that. Cut it out, John. We're not promoting other people in this show. This show's about me. It's my show. Go promote them on your own show if you want. What happened to the Sixers game tonight? You can watch the first 5 minutes of the show. I explained it. Just not good weather. Can't get down to the stadium. I'm about 50 minutes away from Wells Fargo. I don't want to risk coming home. And tomorrow I have to take care of some things in my car, so I'm not going. I was able to sell the tickets to a good friend of mine, and it worked out. Let's keep it moving here. Marquette DePaul. How about this one for a letdown game? Really interesting. Marquette obviously off some real big wins lately. I know they lost to St. John's, but again, Marquette off the big win against Villanova over the weekend. A game at home that came down to the final possession. A lot of excitement in that win. Now you got to head on the road to take on lonely DePaul. I'll tell you what, DePaul sneak up on you. They're a pretty decent team. Struss can shoot the ball. Eli Kane, Devin Gage, Paul Reed, solid little team here. Not a deep team, don't have a big bench, but they can hang in games. This looks like a stone-cold letdown game for Marquette. I wouldn't want anything to do with them here. Not saying I'm betting on DePaul, but I wouldn't want anything to do with Marquette here. You get a big game against Butler coming up here as well. I mean, not for another week, which actually is a decent kind of point here, though. While I think this is a letdown game and why I'm not betting it, is the fact that after this, Marquette's off for a week. They get a week off, 8 days. If I'm a coach, that's a huge selling point to me because I'm saying to my people, listen, and this is, again, I don't know if this has any bearing on anything, but why this is a letdown game, it's not like they have to focus on, it's not a sandwich spot. They're off for 8 days. I would say to my team, listen, guys, we are really good. We're off a great win against Villanova. We have a game tonight, and we have 7 days off after that. Let's go out like a bye week. Let's fucking take care of business tonight, and let's work on Butler down the road. That's my selling point tonight for Marquette. I think it's a letdown game, but then I think to myself, well, they don't play for 7 days. You ever think about that? You ever think about when you go to school when you're a kid, and you just want to get to Christmas break? You just don't do anything stupid. You don't have to hear your mom bitch the whole time. You just want to get to Christmas break and end it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go to school for 2 weeks. If I'm Marquette, I'm looking at this and saying, well, we got a nice break coming up. Then we focus on the end of the season and we take care of this conference. I think letdown games are there, but I don't know if – well, I think this may be one. I don't know if it is because it's a different kind of situation. You normally don't see a team get 7 or 8 days off in the middle of February. So that's my opinion. Yeah, I don't disagree, guys. You gotta keep your foot on the gas. Flying up to Haddonfield tomorrow the first to work in South Philly. Very cool. Where are you working at, Kyle? Maybe if I'm there, we can meet up. We meet at Turf Club or something. Who is the biggest sports bettor right now? You think? I couldn't care less, dude. Honestly, I worry about myself anymore. I don't worry about other people. Let's keep it moving here. Drake, Southern Illinois. I think both these teams will score tonight. Didn't go much into this game, but I think both these teams will have success against the opposing defense. Again, I didn't go deep into it. I don't normally like one game cards in a conference, so I didn't have much on this one. Drake, again, no Nick Norton still. They've been kind of dealing with life after Nick Norton. Southern Illinois, I like Barry Hinson, a good coach. They're at home here, but I don't. I think these teams are kind of right on par, so I don't really have much of an edge here. I think if I had to play, I'd go with Drake just because I think these teams are a bit closer than 5 points. This was a big time letdown game. They had just beaten Marquette. It was a Saturday game, very early, sleepy atmosphere. They didn't play well. They didn't play well in that game. But you know what? The good news is, you can always right the ship. They got beat up in that game. There's no two ways about it. And that's been my kind of problem with St. John's this year. There's been very little consistency with this team. You look at they win a big game, then they lose a big game. They win a game, then lose two. Win a game, lose one. Win a game, lose one. You look at since January 16th, okay, beat Creighton, then they lose two games. Then they beat Creighton again. Then they lose to Duke. Then they beat Marquette. Then they go out and lose to Providence. They shoot themselves in the foot a lot. But I look at this game tonight. It's in Queens. They have two arenas, Queens and then the Garden. This game's in Queens. They do have a big game on the docket against Villanova. Tough little spot for St. John's kind of in schedule here, these last few weeks, really. You had Duke. You had a bad spot against Providence. You got this game at home, and then you got Villanova at the weekend. But it's not till Sunday. It's not a turnaround where you play Thursday or Friday. It's Sunday. You got to take care of business. St. John's is on the bracket bubble line right now. They are. You really can't afford these kind of losses. Butler's good. They're not great. But you look at these teams beside each other, there's not a lot of difference. I give St. John's the edge. They're at home. It's a true home game for them. And I think in this game, I want Shamari Pons on my team. It's that easy. I'm not a big Butler guy. I don't like Lavelle Jordan. I think that was a bad hire by them. Give me the Johnnies. I think they take care of business tonight. Couple of comments here. And again, I thank all of you for joining us. 400 people in here. I'm hoping we're still in the air. My computer kind of keeps freezing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with my connection. I hope it's not ice fucking with my connection, but now I'm losing. Do you guys still hear me at least? I might have to turn my my video off, which I think I'm going to do here. Let me know that you guys still hear me. I turned my video off, so I'm going to keep it off. It looks like it's not working here, so I'm gonna keep it off. So there we go. Let me know that you guys still hear me. Yeah, not ice, the actual ice weather. But we'll keep the we'll just keep the sound on right now. What else do we have here? Michigan, Penn State. Yeah, again, Penn State, I wonder what this team still has in the tank, really. I mean, seems like every game, Michigan or Penn State just kind of, they get close, but no cigar. Yeah, I know they beat Northwestern, but then they followed it up and lost to Ohio State. I lean with Maryland here, or not Maryland, Michigan. But not a game that I really looked a ton into. Alabama, Mississippi State. I think anytime Mississippi State play, I'm looking at an over. Alabama's actually been better, though, defensively in conference. They've actually really been getting after it. You look at in conference, Alabama, fourth in defensive efficiency. They've done a nice job. Same old song and dance with Mississippi State. They can't defend. Tempo's been high, and that's about it. I mean, over looks like the play here. If I'm looking at this one, every time Mississippi State plays, I have interest in the over. What else do we have here? Arkansas, Missouri, a game that I think a lot of people will look at and kind of just gloss over, and I would too. I don't think there's a lot of reason to back either team here. Both these teams middling. If I'm Arkansas, I would look to move on from Mike Anderson. I just don't know what the guy gives you much anymore. This is a real clash in styles too. Arkansas goes real quick. The Missouri Tigers go very slow, play a lot of defense. So yeah, the pass for me. K-State, Texas. I like K-State. I think it's a big revenge spot for K-State. Remember in the first game, didn't have Dean Wade. I think it's a real good spot for K-State to get some revenge. I've talked about Texas. I like Texas in certain spots. I don't know that this is one of them. But I do look at this game and say to myself, why is Texas a favorite here? I guess because they're at home. I don't know. But I would think that this number just kind of doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to kind of take the bait here with K-State. I know Cartier Diarra is out. They lost him today. But I'm willing to think if you're going to give me 2.5, I'll bite the bullet here. I think it's a pretty good matchup for K-State. Again, didn't have Dean Wade in the first game. And this Texas offense is pretty dependent on getting to the line and kind of creating in the half court. I think K-State will do a nice job defensively here tonight. But again, without Diarra, it does bother me a little bit. Again, guys, I'm kind of just keeping my video off right now due to it was kind of freezing and stuff. Duke, Louisville. Duke 8.5, really depends where you look. I think Duke, people are always looking to fade them, and this is probably a decent spot. Louisville's at home. They're really good defensively. I really like what Louisville does. And I think this is kind of one of those spots where I think you maybe put a team on upset alert here. Duke has been real dependent on, they don't shoot a lot of threes. That's kind of been their MO. I think Louisville's a little bit more balanced, Frank. It's kind of amazing because I think Louisville's really balanced. I think they can match what Duke does as far as production, but people forget how good Duke has been on defense. I've been real impressed with how effective they've been this year. If I'm looking at this game, 152.5 seems a bit high. Frankly, I lean Louisville. I think if I can get 8.5, I'd take Louisville. They're at home. Yum Center's going to be on fire. Duke off kind of that crazy win against Virginia. Louisville is playing really good basketball. I know they lost over the weekend against Florida State, but again, that was a road game. I don't take a lot of stock in them losing to Florida State. Florida State's a good team. I kind of would agree. I like Louisville here. The rest of the card, I don't have much on. I have no interest in UNLV ever. Do I want to take 9 with Air Force, though? No. San Diego State, Colorado State. San Diego State always seems to play down to bad competition. We know Colorado State can score. That could be, maybe worth a look here. I think anytime Colorado State plays, and I have a total at 144, I'm looking over. I just am. This Colorado State team's pretty good on offense. They're really good with Carvacho inside. He's a really good player. And if we've learned anything about Colorado State, they play no defense. Pace should be pretty good in this game. I kind of like the over here. You look at San Diego State, number 1 in conference at the line, 79%. Team really good from the line. When they get there, they make their shots. We've saw in the Mountain West, a lot of fouls are called in this conference. I like where we're going here with maybe an over. Pace is going to be good in this game. Colorado State, we know, do a lot of good things on offense, don't do much on defense. Colorado State, 302 in the country in defensive efficiency. They're not good. And for SDSU's sake, this isn't a vintage Steve Fisher defense. They just aren't. So I kind of lean with the over here. I think it's a pretty good play. I feel like the tempo will be there for an over. This is going to be my other free play of the day. Over 144.5 in San Diego State, Colorado State. Late night game. We're probably on Periscope later. Ryder Quinnipiac, no opinion. I hate the MAC. Actually, you know what's funny? I hate both Macs. I hate the Mac, whether it's the MAC or the MAAC. I hate them both. How crazy is that? I hate both of them. So those are the games for you. We'll try to get back with video here, but yeah, I want to say I feel like hopefully the ice isn't affecting the connection. Sometimes they get that way with these winter storms. Now we have no sound. Weird. Sorry, guys. It's not my problem, unfortunately. There's nothing I can do. I when I do a show, I hope that the sound works, and we just kind of go from there. So I'll go 2 free plays here. We'll go with Kentucky -8, and we'll go with the over in the San Diego State Colorado State game at 144.5. We'll stay on for about 5 minutes here. If you have any questions, feel free to send those in. Always appreciate any questions that you guys might have. So feel free to send those in. But yeah, interesting card. No lower level extra games or anything. So it's kind of weird. Usually you have a little conference you can kind of get into. So we don't have those. That game ain't going over. Okay, well then don't bet it. I couldn't care less what you do, Big Worm. If you don't want to bet it, then don't. Just here to break the game down. Thank you, Shadow. Appreciate that. Where's the best site to use for in-conference only team stats? Ken Palm, but you have to pay for it. Good luck, Gil. Gil's liking the Cats tonight. Good luck to them. Prediction for the A-10 final. Wow. I think VCU will beat Davidson. How far can the Sixers go? I think the Sixers have shown in the last 2 games they can do anything they want. Tonight is a big one, though. It's a big game. The Celtics have owned you. Really hasn't mattered. Kyrie's not playing tonight. You're at home. You've been terrific at home. There's 0 excuses in this game. You must get the job done here. If this team comes out and plays like shit, I got to wonder. But look, hey, you blew out the Nuggets and you blew out the Lakers. Should get the job done. This is a big game tonight. Any premium plays tonight? I sent a premium play out last night, brother. You're missing the boat, pal. I sent a premium play out last night around 8:30. You missed it. It's actually not a bad thing, though, because for once I didn't get the best number in a game, which sucks. But yes, we've had a premium play out in the site since last night. Stevens is a much better coach. He might be, but this team is way better than the Celtics, in my opinion. Do I like Tottenham over 2.5? No, I'm not running to the window to bet Tottenham overs right now with Dele Alli and Harry Kane out. In fact, I kind of like the Borussia Dortmund. I didn't do too well in my plays today in Champions League. I didn't really get too involved, but I was on Gabe's show earlier. I did like Roma. They got the job done, but Man United didn't. Man United played really poor today against Paris Saint-Germain. If you can't beat PSG without Neymar and Cavani, I don't know what to say. Look, Mbappe's good and Di Maria and Draxler, but look, if you're Man United, a team that's not lost in 11 games, you should be able to get the job done or at least get a result. Our Flyers going to win. I don't really watch hockey. I just kind of watch it for fun. I don't know a ton about it. A teaser. Yeah, you should be betting teasers, brother, at all. If you learned anything from me, you shouldn't be betting teasers. Yeah, they did Longbow, didn't they? It's kind of ugly. But for anyone that's just come in, we have 2 free plays here on the show tonight. We're going with Kentucky, or I'm sorry, I'm going with Kentucky -8, and I'm also taking San Diego State and Colorado State over 144.5. What's my advice when the line moves against you? My advice wouldn't change. I've already made the bet. I'm not buying out of the bet. Sometimes you get the best of it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes lines move differently. Um, Again, it doesn't happen often to me, but it happened last night. So what are you going to do? Who's the third best team in the Big East behind Marquette and Nova? Wow, that's a good question. Um, to be honest, I would say, and I think I've talked about this with someone else. Someone asked me this question the other night when I was going over. I kind of opened questions up. People might think I'm nuts, but I like Georgetown. I think in like a conference weekend, I think they could be pretty dangerous. I like a lot of what they do. I like McClung a lot. I like Trey Morning and Akinjo. I like the addition of Malinowski. Govan's terrific. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think the lay person would say St. John's, but I haven't been that impressed with St. John's. Seton Hall is usually good in these tournaments, but I think Georgetown's going to give some teams some trouble. How many books do you recommend being involved with? You should have a couple. Do I agree with the away team 2 to 4 range home dog win? No, not always. At Big Man, you need to do relationship advice videos. Well, hey, listen, feel free to ask me anything about relationships, and I could probably help you. You have about 5 minutes, so feel free to ask whatever you want. Again, when you have a girl that looks like mine and is like mine, generally people want your advice on how to get girls like that. So if you're interested, feel free to ask. Kyle Hamburg, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Who was more powerful, Pablo or Chapo? That's such a great question. And in fact, it's something that I really want to delve into. I was wondering what the interest would be to having some kind of show like that, talking about crime and just different things that we've seen over the years. I think it'd be fun. I would agree with Julian. I would say Pablo Escobar. While Chapo had a lot of influence, it was in his area. Chapo didn't have the pull that Pablo Escobar did. Pablo Escobar had connections in the government. He had connection with that. And I'm not saying Chapo didn't, but Chapo's reign was mainly in Sinaloa. We obviously saw, that Pablo Escobar had a ton of reach, whether it was up at the high levels of the government. People loved him. And they both loved their people in general. In Sinaloa, I mean, Chapo was a hero, and he was like he was kind of he was the guy everyone loved because he took care of people. And in most neighborhoods, whether it's the mafia or it's drug dealers or it's cartels, in those neighborhoods, they love those people because they protect those neighborhoods. You look at John Gotti up at Ozone Park in Howard Beach. They love John Gotti. I mean, he was like the mayor of Howard Beach because when John Gotti was around, nobody fucked with anybody. There wasn't petty larceny. There wasn't robberies. There wasn't drug addicts hanging on every corner. It was cleaned up. You're not going to do that in these neighborhoods, and we're going to protect it and police it. Problem was, they were criminals policing other criminals. So as far as who's more powerful, I would definitely say Pablo Escobar. But El Chapo had a huge reign. I mean, El Chapo made a ton of money. And for all these people that are laughing about Chapo's going to escape, Chapo Guzman will never see the light of day again. It's frankly impossible to escape from the ADX. He'll be under constant surveillance. He's not going to have his buddies that work for the police force and the correction officers down in Mexico. It's not going to be like that. He's in the big bad US of A now. He ain't escaping from anything. In fact, you can put him in MDC, New York. You could put him in, as long as you're not putting him in some summer camp, he's not escaping. There's absolutely no chance he's escaping. The rest of his life will be in a 7x10 box with a time shower, concrete furniture, and very little connection with the outside world. His phone calls, there'll be someone right next to him listening to every phone call. When you're at ADX, life is hell on earth. And frankly, I said it on Twitter. If I was Chapo Guzman, I would prefer to be killed on my way to I would prefer that the BOP van, something happens to me or something like that, he is not going to be. There's no way. There's absolutely no chance. In fact, I would bet my life savings on that. He's never coming home. He's never seeing the light of day again. I don't think people quite understand how truly secure that prison is. They built it under the ground, basically. Once you go in, you don't see the sky again. And that's where the worst people on earth go in this country. If you're a terrorist, if you're a high-level drug dealer, and I mean high-level on the fact of like Chapo Guzman or Larry Hoover, people like that, you look at a guy in Philadelphia, Kabani Savage. He's at ADX. Kabani Savage killed 6 people in a firebombing. Those are the kinds of people that go to ADX. He's done. That's it. And he should be. He's a criminal. He's polluted this country with drugs. But you know what the sad part is, guys? It's not going to change. Just someone else picks it up now. You think the Sinaloa cartel is hurt by this? Someone just picked it right up again. I mean, that's the thing. That was one of the best quotes in The Wire when basically Herc and Carver were talking about the drug war, and Herc basically says, you can't even call this a war. And Herc goes, why not? And he goes, wars end. Like, this isn't a war. This is how it works. Like, just because you take away Chapo Guzman, it's not going to the flow of drugs isn't going to change. Just someone else is going to pick it up. And that's why, like, this wall and all this stuff, like, it's not going to affect shit. Drugs are still going to come into the country. Ports of entry are still going to be undetected. These guys aren't stupid. Like, they're just not. Yeah, from what I heard, he didn't. I think he almost thought that he was like too good or too famous to get convicted. Like, I heard he was surprised that he got convicted. Carlo Gambino was a real boss. He was. He was probably the most successful, one of the more successful mob bosses ever. Should you watch Westwood or The Wire? You should watch The Wire. Exactly, Christopher. You know. Yeah, I mean, again, Chapo Guzman got caught because he got too big for his britches. All these guys want to be famous. They all want to be in, you know what Chapo really hurt himself when he did that Sean Penn interview. That was the dumbest thing he could ever did because he came out of the shadows. Nobody really knew who Chapo was unless you were like a criminal, like you studied criminal people. Like, the layperson didn't know who Chapo was. When Chapo started doing, like, he started marrying these high-profile models and he started acting like a crime boss, that's when he became a target. Not that he wasn't a target, but it made it worse. And doing a fucking interview with Sean Penn, come on, man. That's like doing a fucking interview with the feds. I mean, you knew that was going to get to the wrong people. It's a bad idea, if you ask me. But Chapo's done now. He'll be transferred out to Colorado, and we'll never hear about him again. So, good riddance. But again, it doesn't change anything. I just finished Escape at Dannemora. Yeah, it's a great show, isn't it? Any other show recommendations? Yeah, Top Boy. Terrific show on Netflix. Really enjoyed it. It's short, but it's good. It's actually being brought back, I heard, as well. So, all right, guys, that's that. I'll tell you what, we'll stay on for 5 more minutes if you have any other questions. Is there a sleeper Power 6 college basketball team to make a run in the tournament? That's a good question, Luke, actually. And I was going to see what people thought about this. Obviously, we do the daily show here, but I was wondering if you guys had interest in me doing like a weekly state of college basketball show, outlining futures that might have some value, or all this different stuff as far as what I like to look for and who's hot and who's not right now. I'll have some handicappers on that'll join me. Didn't know if anyone had interest in that. It was going to be something I was going to do weekly. So something that you can watch and listen to. So if you're interested, I'll probably start to do something like that. Maybe post it this week. And guys, I know I said this on today, but Thursday we won't be on the air. It's Valentine's Day. I'm going to be out. So I'm not going to be on the air. So that'll be a day of maybe something during the day or something like that, maybe a Periscope or something. Yeah, Matt, listen, Matt. I mean, every time I do something, you want to join. Like, I know you want to have like, I don't know. Maybe I should just let you join one time so you stop bothering me about it. Amazing. All right, guys, we are out of here. You all enjoy your night. What do I think about IU basketball? I don't think they're very good. They've had a lot of injuries, though. You got to feel bad. You're losing Davis and Green. Tough losses. A lot of not very much height there right now. And Langford has had to do too much. I'm out of here. You all enjoy your night. Probably will be on Periscope later during the Colorado State game as we kind of root that in. Are you going to be doing March Madness shows? Yeah, as far as I know. I'm probably going to be in Atlantic City, though, for Thursday and Friday. I'm going to see if maybe me and Gabe can do something. I know he had talked about maybe being down there. So I'm going to probably plan on being there. If you guys are interested and you're going to be near there, maybe we can all meet up and have a little meet. So I'll probably be in Atlantic City Thursday and Friday at least for the tournament, and probably Saturday as well. And then I'll come home Sunday or whenever. So, yeah, that's that. You all have a great night. Thanks for joining me. I'm the big man on campus. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.